So our project is on Mark Warner. He's a Democrat, and we're going to be judging him on his responsibility, which is measured by how many times that they have taken ownership of their faults and finding a solution to fix them, his leadership, which is measured by the importance of the role in certain committees, his genuinity, which is measured by their support of the beliefs and political opinions that they say, how passionate he is, which is measured by what they do for what they believe in, how non-prejudicial they are, which is measured by how they are interacting with people, how they interact with people outside of their race, and by what do they do with the bills to interact with them, I guess. Respectful, which is measured by their listening skills and how they interact with other people. Communication, which is measured by how they answer letters from people with the same beliefs. And our seventh measurement is attendance, which is attendance.
So, with our research, how responsible is Mark Warner?
Mark Warner is not the least responsible, but since he has a pretty high leadership grade, his responsibility goes up with that, since they're kind of contingent on each other. But he does have a very low attendance, so that brings it down. So on a 4.0 scale, his responsibility is 2.5.
Can you talk a little bit more about the leadership?
In regards to the leadership, there are a lot of sources that say he's a very natural leader, but other sources say that he's one of the 10th worst leaders of the Democratic senators, solely because he doesn't sponsor a lot of bills, and just showing, of course, like co-sponsoring bills shows leadership.
How genuine would you say Mark Warner is?
Mark Warner is a very genuine person in the fact that he has high opinions on different subjects. He highly supports his beliefs and other political opinions that he has. And he's also co-sponsored documents from not only Democrats, but also on the other side of the spectrum with Republicans. So he isn't afraid to show to stand up what he supports, and whether it's, with the Democrats or the Republicans or anyone in between, I'm sure.
Okay, so would you say that Mark Warner is very passionate, or what would you say on that?
We checked out his Twitter, and he is a 4.0 on passion very he shows his opinions, whether we support them or not, very broadly, and very strongly stands on certain subjects. In addition to this, he has also persuaded his education at George Washington University, and he's also pursued education in George Washington University and Harvard.
So, with today's racial tension, would you say he's non-prejudicial?
I think he would, because there are multiple sources that claim Warner is a very fair and believes in people of different races, cultures, and customs, and believes that they are equal to one another. He also drafted a bill that would create a National Women's History Museum in 2013. Yeah.
So, in today's government, we need a leader who's respectful. Would you say he's respectful?
I think that he's not the worst, but he's at a 3.0 because he paid respects to the World War II vets in Charlottesville on Veterans Day. He also has established himself as a bipartisan leader who has worked with Republicans and Democrats, as I stated before. He would, and I like to cut red tape. He's just he's a 3.0 on respectful.
How would you rate his communication skills?
His communication definitely varies depending on what perspective you're looking at him in. he seems to be very vocal on social media outlets, Twitter especially, and he is quick to voice his opinion on Twitter, but at the same time, other sources show how he can be very centered on his beliefs, cutting off his ties with other bills and deals with other congressmen. So his communication's a bit, 2.5.
What's up with his attendance?
Now, his attendance is a very interesting thing. There's been multiple sources.
You guys filming?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys filming?
Do you know who Mark Warner is?
Yeah.
Would you like to give an opinion on him?
He's a politician. I have the same opinion
So our source of
like a cell phone company?
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
So our source from Fiddler says that he's a politician, and Fiddler has the same opinion on all politicians. So speaking of his attendance, of course, according to GovTrack.us, he's the 9th most absent senator, which is kind of interesting considering the other few that are very absent were all in the presidential race, the first 5 of them. So that means he's the 3rd most absent, which is very interesting because what's the point of electing a senator if he's not going to represent us? So he has missed 7.2% of votes in the 114th Congress, and based off of these numbers, he just really doesn't have a strong attendance, so we gave him a 2.5.
What's his overall GPA?
We averaged it all together and decided that his overall GPA is a 3.64, so he's getting there, trying his best, but he's got some stuff to work on, specifically his attendance.
Alright, if we're being real here, what would you really want to say to Mark Warner?
If I could speak to Mark Warner, I would ask him, just in general, what are you doing? Why do you... Your attendance, we're being nice on that, man. It's a 2.5, but if I was a teacher, I wouldn't give you a 2.5. It's a collective effort. Yeah.
Thanks, Abby.
Yeah.